There's Downton Abbey, season 3, episode 2, titled Part 2. Cora's mother, I guess played by Shirley MacLaine, says it best what the theme of this episode is about. She tells Robert in one of the last scenes of the episode, "The way to deal with today's world, Robert, is to not ignore it." And Robert basically is saying, some people have that in them to basically evolve with the times, and some people are stuck with their guns and don't have the ability to evolve with the times. And that's what Robert's arc is of season 3. If he's willing to concede into the new world and all the mistakes that he's made, so he can become a bigger man in the end. And I guess that's the theme of what Carson's going, because Carson is the shadow of Robert and Robert is the shadow of Carson, and they don't want this world to change, which is classic storytelling, where even in today's world, where I'm doing this review in 2013, a podcast review, I never even thought in a million years I'd be doing this 10 years ago, but it's just funny how things evolve. And to use Mad Men, whereas Mad Men, the theme of California is all about the newness, the change, like how the time is changing in the 1960s. In Downton, the United States is in 1920s. The United States is the symbol of change, the symbol of the future, and Shirley MacLaine's American character is the symbol of the new world. She's an older lady with money, but she understands that the world is changing. And there's some classic funny lines in this episode where Matthew and Mary get back from their funeral, and he's driving a car, which is a symbolism of the change, where back in the day, horse and carriage, or even when the new automobiles, someone like in Matthew or Mary's position would never be driving the car themselves, because they always needed a chauffeur or a valet to basically drive for them. But now the new world is changing, and even people in the position of Matthew are going to start doing things themselves instead of someone changing them like they are in Downton. And I'm just curious where he's going to go in the future seasons, because obviously Downton is also failing because it might need to close down. Of course, it's not going to, because it is Downton Abbey, and they're set for another few seasons to do it. But it's basically about the end of these kind of structures in England, and it's also the end of England in general too, which has been the number one power for a long time. And of course, the United States is coming up the tailwinds, and basically as soon as 20 years from now, when the UK will need the United States help in the World War II, United States will take over. But that's here and there. That's going to be in the future. But classic line, where basically Robert gets back from when Matthew and Mary get back from the wedding, Robert takes him in his car and goes, "How was the honeymoon?" And Matthew's like, "My eyes have been opened," and Robert goes, "Don't I know it?" And basically talking about his daughter. Kind of one of the creepiest lines, but of course the intention of Robert and Matthew are different in that to today's world. But it's kind of like a great little line to show that in today's world, if I come home from a honeymoon and my fiance's basically girlfriend, or my wife's husband says, "Hey, how was the honeymoon, Matthew?" And I'm like, "My eyes have been open." And he's like, "Don't I know it?" Think about in 2013 standards how creepy that line would be. So all kinds of shenanigans going on, of course, in the underground of the Downton and above, and where Edith is trying to cling on, where it's like after the World War I, a lot of the younger men have died, and Edith is left alone, which is kind of her struggle of season episode 2 and season 3 in general. But let's go. We'll continue on. But this is kind of a fun episode, and Shirley MacLaine is two episode arc is gone, and she kind of enjoyed it, and she set up the thematic of season 3. That's my review.